Hello, everyone. It is Mr. Fernandez, and we are starting our week of finances. Woo, money! Uh, One of the fundamental things that we need to understand, both right now as you're a student and you're working part-time, as well as for the future, is how do you calculate your pay? And it's a very, very simple equation. It is the number of hours that you work times your hourly pay equals your total pay. Plain and simple. That's all it is. But if you need to figure out how to do something or your pay for long term, the equation starts to get a little bit more complicated. Not much, but a little bit. So the first thing to know is what bi-weekly means. And so bi-weekly, which looks like this, that means every 2 weeks. And in Canada, in Ontario, more often than not, people get paid bi-weekly, every 2 weeks. And that's important to know because you're going to make a budget based on that pay. And so that, again, bi-weekly. There are some companies that will pay every week, and some companies that will pay the 1st and then the 15th of each month. But they are by far in the minority. Most companies, the vast majority, pay bi-weekly. Now, there's a couple of other terms that we need to know. So you have your annual salary. What does annual salary mean? It's how much money you make over 1 year. Annual is year. So your yearly salary, your annual salary. And with that, you then have your monthly salary, which is how much you make per month, and then just your normal take-home pay every 2 weeks. And now that's something else that you need to know. There's take-home pay, which is how much money you actually take home. This is also called your net income. Now, when you see take-home pay, that probably suggests to you that you're not going to take all of your pay home. And that is exactly right. There's a certain amount that doesn't go to you. It goes to the different levels of government. It goes towards a pension plan. It goes towards unemployment insurance. And so you have your net versus your gross income. Now, the way that I remember the difference between these two is that your gross is everything. That was a terrible circle. I'm sorry. But your gross is everything that you earn. Your net is what is caught after taxes are taken off. And so the net is what you'll actually be able to spend. In the next video, I will go over how to calculate your net versus your gross income. But for now, we're just going to go with our gross income. So we need to know something. How much do you earn per hour? Let's say you earn, I don't know, $17 per hour. And in Ontario, in Canada, when you say full-time, that usually means 40 hours. So let's use that. We're working full-time, so that's 40 hours. And that's in 1 week over 5 days. So that's important to remember too. Full-time is typically 40 hours, which is spread over 1 week, 5 days. And so that equates to 8 hours a day. And so you have that equation, the amount you make per hour times the number of hours that you work. And so if we do that super easy equation, 0 times 7 is 0, 0 times 1, also 0. Add that placeholder. 4 times 7 is 28. We carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 equals 6. And then we add those two numbers together for a grand total of $680 for the week. Boom. That is how much you would make for a week. Now, how do you calculate your annual salary? Well, you know what your weekly salary is. So what do? Pretty simple. You just times it by the number of weeks in a year. And that number is 52. So you take your weekly income or salary, times it by number of weeks you want to calculate. So it could be weeks in a year, weeks in a month, weeks in 6 months. It's just the number of weeks you want to use. And so that will equal your annual income, or your gross income. So if we were to actually do this, we do 680 times 52. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16, carry the 1. 2 times 6 is 12, plus that 1 is 13. We have our placeholder 0. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 8 is 40. We have that 4, and we carry it over. 5 times 6 is 30, plus 4 is 34. Now we add those two numbers together. 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 0 is 6. 3 plus 0 is 3. 1 plus 4 is 5. And 3. So our grand total for the year is $35,360. And that's how much you would make for an annual income. Okay? Pretty straightforward. Nothing crazy. It's not sneaky or anything like that. So what your task now is to research what minimum wage is in Ontario. Now, there are two. There's one for what's called students, and it's not everybody who is still a student. You have to look. There's a little bit of detail in that. And then there's one for what's called adult minimum wage. You will need to look at both because right now you are currently in the student minimum wage category, and at some point you will transition into the adult minimum wage category. So again, your first task is to figure out or to research what is your minimum wage right now and in the future. Then you're going to have to calculate what would the salary be. And now keep in mind, as a student in high school, you're only supposed to work maximum 15 hours. That's what studies show is the optimal amount before it starts negatively impacting your education. So use that as a reference. Find out what the student minimum wage is, times it by 15 hours, and that will give you your weekly income. And then I also want to know what your yearly income is as an annual amount. Okay? Let me know how it goes, and if you have any questions, let me know.